Hello, elevator teeth. How are you, my friend?
I'm hanging out by the Target. I'm just waiting for Target to open.
How do you feel about doing interviews about art?
It's easy to wanna resist. Like the idea of talking and it being recorded when I'm by myself seems really like um, it seems like something I really want to do. Like I'm excited about recording myself talk, but then when it actually comes time to do it, and it changes everything. That like it being recorded, you're very self
Reflective.
just a lot of fear. Yeah, because you like to do freestyle, like freestyle rapping, and I like to try to do that too. But I always had trouble. I was certain moods I was in, I could do it like with people around. I was feeling good, but other times like it was just like you have to be psyched with life. You can edit everything anyway. It's better just to have a documentation of it, a record of it.
Right.
Yeah. Making records is important.
Yeah, just records. Put out all the records.
You have to keep track of your life.
Yeah.
And your thoughts and your ideas. So I think these days it's like most of us are on overload, and it's interesting to see where things or to consider where things will go in the future. Like, everything is a step in the direction of madness. Like, I feel like smartwatches, for example, is like the one thing that we generally don't need as like a civilization right now. I think some people could benefit from smartwatches, but it's just like another. You need to get connected again. Like you need that on your wrist now.
Yeah.
Like no, we need to disconnect from this thing more than ever before.
We need to learn some way to regulate how to use it because we can't control ourselves.
Yeah, we know we can't control ourselves, but yet we don't care. We know that we're spiraling out of control, but like, we have other things to worry about. We know the world's probably ending, but I gotta like eat this candy right now.
Have you ever stolen anything? Have you ever stolen anything?
I used to steal a lot of stuff. I used to sell stuff and sell it on eBay. I used to steal video games and little memory cards and just put in my pockets.
Just sell them on eBay?
Yep. I remember one time I walked through a security checkpoint and it beeped, and I was with my mom, and
You just kept going?
and I just was like, oh, I was just like, okay. I just pointed to it like kind of confusingly, and the guy's like, oh, it's all right, because he had been helping us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Why do you make art?
Just have fun. I just try to have fun. But I try to explore myself.
But what is the point of making art? Why do you do it?
Because I just want to explore my own perspective, which is like a very simplistic perspective. And I feel like even just like looking at a ruler and just like getting a piece of paper in front of you and just sketching out some basic shapes, like it'll start taking you somewhere. Everybody's wasted and tasted, face it, kid.
It seems your work has always involved the process of pattern making. What is so special about making patterns for you?
I think doing patterns is nice because there's different, like, okay, it's multi-layered for me. Like, it has to feel good when I'm doing it, or I can't do it. So, like, anything that I'm doing, spending hours doing, it has to feel good.
Yeah, why else would you do it that long?
Exactly. So that's why drawing could be a chore. If I just simply don't want to draw this, that's when I draw, I get really into it and I get into the rhythm, no matter what it is, and so patterns are something to get into, and they're also meditative.
Yeah.
And
it's easy. You know where the next part goes. It's always just kind of building on.
But like
that repeated itself before.
But like so this is like 100% as I drew it. With pencil. But anyway, sometimes I'll do a whole page of patterns, and then I'll by drawing by pencil or whatever, and then I'll mix that up. So sometimes like a pattern, it's like a pattern of a pattern.
Wait, tell me that again. So you'll do what?
Like let's say I'll do a drawing with all these patterns.
Yeah. Like you'll do
And
one page.
And I mapped it out.
That's just like this.
Yeah, and I mapped it all out with a ruler. It's not perfect, but it's like for me, it's like is as close to perfection as it's like messy perfection. If that
You
makes
don't
sense.
really want it to be too perfect.
No.
Your art always has
Exactly.
natural beauty to it, natural
Thank you.
decay to it, almost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a certain
Sorry
level
to
of
interrupt you.
perfection that.
But then what will you do? You'll fill up the page with the pattern?
Oh yeah, so I'll do like a whole page of patterns, which I have really like thought a lot about. I'm not saying that they look cool, or even successful, but I took a lot of time to figure out how I wanted it because I just that's how I work is slow. But then like I'll sometimes make another pattern out of that piece. Like I'll almost like take it and collage it into something else.
Like actually take that piece and like almost
Each
like
element.
ruin that piece by making it like
Yeah.
this won't be that anymore.
Like remix it.
You'll remix it
Yeah.
into something or sample. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's good. I'm always trying to surprise myself with
I was gonna ask because you got this box.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff happens in that box. It's it's a reoccurring theme in your art. The box.
Yeah, because it's like sometimes you want to contain things in a perfect place.
It's more that I'm like I don't want to fall into like stupid questions, but it's like more than a symbol. Like, do you like make a box first and then you're like, okay, now I can put something in it? Or do you
It's both. It's sometimes it's like you make that environment first and you want to either leave it alone or you want to put something in it, or you start with the thing in the environment
make the environment around it?
Yeah, work both ways.
That's,
So I would say that I love sort of corridors, which I
Yeah.
guess is what those are.
mm-hmm.
I love them like from video games,
Mm-hmm.
but I love them in real life. Like I love the image that I like to come to when I'm thinking of a corridor. This is making no sense, but is so simple and minimal. You know, like an old 80s video game feel. And those places exist in the real world. These similar looking corridors, like I've been in them in like hotels and in airports and in underground areas. Like those corridors exist, and I love those spaces so much. Yeah, they're almost like perfect places in a way. You know, they say with crabs that the more beautiful the crab, I think it's a crab. Yeah, the more beautiful the
more
crab, the more
dangerous.
poisonous it is.
Yeah, they're like right.
Yeah, there are some crabs that are poisonous.
Oh,
Yeah, like you can't eat them, and they don't know why. It's like basically toxic crabs,
wow.
and they don't know why they're toxic. They
And
think
they're more designed. The ones that are more toxic are more
Right.
designed.
it's weird. It seems like that there's some connection between what they look like.
If you could make your drawings poisonous, would you?
They are poisonous. Yeah, I would make them poisonous because it's like at least they'd be more beautiful to look at, you know, and ultimately like they'd kill you if you
If you ate them.
got too close. Yeah, and you ate them. I want to eat my work. I feel like some artists, I can't remember what artists like ate their work. I'm gonna eat my phone and I'm gonna eat my work.
Did you have any remarkable teachers during your experience in school?
Yeah.
Mrs. Aragon in English and Mr. Qualls in English. They were my favorites. Mr. Qualls had pink pants. He's like this like tall,
Eccentric.
eccentric.
I like the
teacher.
eccentric teachers. They were the best.
And he would write poetry, and it's like during like the graduation he'd read his poem. I'm like, I love this guy.
Yeah.
And so I shared with him some of my poetry, and he really liked it, and I was really encouraged. I think I was just really inspired by like Radiohead lyrics and like E. Cummings,
Oh.
you know, to like actually no, that's not true. He recommended E. Cummings to me by reading my poems. Like I thought I was doing some like original thing. I was just like feeling really cool about my work, and he's like, you should read E. Cummings, and I read E. Cummings, and I was like, wow, this person is doing
I've
exactly.
never read E. Cummings.
Yeah,
Who is that?
You may have run into his poetry, but he was like such a radical poet, but like had this beauty to his work, and he wrote all kinds of different things and some short stories and stuff. But also like I feel as far as my knowledge, he was like one of the first to like lay words out almost as like in an artful way in a poem. Like the poem just like looked like sometimes the text was all over the place or like it grouped together, and I felt like that for the time that he wrote it. It was like pretty radical.
Like the letters themselves would be like not aligned?
Yeah, I mean words would be split up and abstracted at times, and the way the poem was laid out was like that basically the visual side to a poem, right? Before you even read it, you just looking at the page and like, whoa, that looks cool, or that looks weird, or he has a kind of, these words have a kind of motion. It's like an artwork in itself. And I mean, maybe I'm overplaying the visual side of his poetry, but anyway, I was really inspired by that, especially when I started to see his stuff and see it was similar to what I was trying to do, but like way better. So it's like you read the poem, you read like a perfect poem from a poet, and you're just like, why do I even write anymore? It's like, it can inspire you, but it can also block you.
Do you love coffee?
Do you love coffee?
I mean, the thing about coffee is that, like, what I love about it is that, like, a lot is the smell, and I just love smells a lot. Like I love fucking smelling things and people. Like if I'm with someone, if I'm like in a romantic relationship, like I fucking smell that person. I'll fucking
Totally, man.
And but I love the smell of a lot of stuff.
What's that towel for?
Oh, I just carry a towel.
It's good
I
to
just
carry
like
a towel.
dude, once you start carrying a towel, man, you realize how fucking important it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Does it smell bad?
No, it just smells like
It smells like cum.
ash and like
Maybe
mint.
use it as a cum rag?
Never.
Well, what do you use it for?
Whoa.
This like reminds me of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. There was the alien who always had the towel, and he said
That's
like
funny.
he said it's important to have a towel.
Well, sometimes my nose runs,
Yeah.
but
Oh, it's not. You don't need a bunch of napkins.
But also when I like to rinse my face with water a lot, so I'm always like when I pat it dry.
Oh.
Or if I want to go to the bathroom, sometimes they don't have like a tissue.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
You don't need to use all the paper towels either.
in Japan, basically everyone carries their own towel.
Really?
I don't know why. It's just everyone does, and it makes sense when you're there because none of the bathrooms have paper towels.
Yeah.
Most don't.
Really?
So it's nice to have your own towel.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
Do you have nightmares?
Yeah, I constantly have this thing that happens when I'm in nightmares where if they're really bad, I can fight to get to the surface level of my consciousness. But sometimes, like, I'll be in a nightmare and I'm experiencing a sort of terror. Like, it feels fucking terrifying. But I realize I'm sleeping because it's almost like my body's awake.
Because you get scared enough to almost
Yeah.
realize you're dreaming.
Right? Yeah. And so there's been times when I've tried to play with that in-between
Sure,
world.
It's almost like it forces you into being lucid, though.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, let's sit here for a little longer in this dream,
Yeah.
and we feel fucking horrible because this is some scary shit. But let's see if we can like change it. But I usually try to go back into that dream, but I just end up waking myself up because I find that terror. It's hard to
That
make
middle
it cease.
state is very. You're being pulled towards the waking more than you are
Yeah.
being let back into the
It's
dream.
because it's something scary that you're encountering.
What's scary? What are you encountering?
I mean, I don't even remember a lot of the times.
Really?
Like I
Is it
wake
an
up, it's just like
abstraction?
this fear. The last dream I had, I can't even describe it to you because it's so personal and so disturbing. Like that, I couldn't even describe it right now. I know it feels horrible to say that, but it has has to do with like a loved one and
Sure.
like something horrible that you don't want to talk
Yeah.
about.
Was your dream about a catapulting dinosaur in Florida coming into evolution of a space crab?
No, but I did have this recurring childhood dream that I was being. When I was a kid, I had this, the only recurring dream I can ever remember having in my life, or one of the only recurring dreams I can ever remember having, is that like I was held captive in this person's it's like a little shack, and this person with a shotgun was like keeping me like captive. And I had this recurring dream, like this old man with a shotgun was always like keeping me, captive in this room, and he never hurt me or anything. But the last time I had that dream, it's this weird and like symbolic and almost corny way. And the last time I had that dream, I got up and I like opened this door to escape, and all I saw were like I was running through all these leaves. It was like orange leaves, and I was just in Portland. It basically looks like Portland at this time of year. I was running through what looked like a forest, but all the leaves had fallen, and it was like all these like yellow leaves. So I was just like running through yellow leaves. It's weird. It's corny, but it's like that was a real childhood recurring dream that ended in such a perfect way.
Is this the only time you ever got out and were running through the leaves, or
Yeah.
did that usually happen?
Never happened before that I ever was able to escape.
You got out.
Yeah, I got out.
And you were running.
Literally never had that dream again. It's amazing.
Your work is sometimes dark. Do you feel you are getting the darkness out of you?
Yeah, it's weird. I do think, especially with maybe that book, there was like a sort of darkness to it. Yeah, but I'm always calling from darkness, but also trying to balance it with something else. In my entire life, I honestly am trying to just make a balance with like myself, with my relationship with other people, with what I eat. Like I really am trying to create a harmonious balance, so I can exist in a more balanced way. I need some stability and some stasis, so I really do strive for balance, like even in the artwork. So it comes naturally.
Do you prefer to keep the meaning of the art ambiguous?
I think it's better because then people can have an experience.
People can have different interpretations.
Yeah, it can help them,
and it can
because
apply
of how
to
they
their
see
life.
it. Yeah.
I really love the way your work has evolved. You're really good.
Thank you. I don't know if I'm good, but what I've realized recently is, like, I've just recently taught myself this, and this is something I should have learned way before. But for something like pencil, for example, if you actually just spend a ridiculous amount of time on one drawing, like you think like that you've erased too much, you should just like start again or something. But if you actually let's just assign like the number 10 hours, like, right? I'm not saying that
you have to spend 10 hours on that drawing.
I'm not even saying you have to.
Oh.
Maybe it's only an hour.
Okay.
I think I'm being extreme with this example.
Okay.
But I rarely would keep just doing the same action a lot.
Right.
And like
in the same place.
What I'm trying to say is that there are so many stages of a drawing. I've realized that that you get that. I think for example, most of the time, let's say that we only get to stage 1 or 2. This is something I'm arbitrarily creating at this moment, right? But let's say you do a drawing, and most of your drawings with pencil are like stage 1 or 2. So that means that maybe you spent 30 minutes on this one, maybe you spent 45 minutes on this one. I feel like you would easily just be like, oh, this drawing sucks, so I could just toss it aside. But actually, like that first drawing that took you like however much time, 30 minutes, like if you spent 3 hours on it, you could start to get some cool stuff out of it. Like it would start to just like, you're chipping away at it, and you're revealing something.
Energy into it?
Yeah, I feel like you're putting so much energy in it that it's refining itself naturally somehow. Like you could be on the phone and doodling for 3 hours, like some simple thing, and I feel like you could unconsciously be like fixing it here, or like this part I should like make it a little bit more clear, more perfect. I can fit this perspective. I should shade this part a little bit more. I should erase it, start over again, whatever. I feel like if you spent 3 hours on it, you would see like, holy shit, like this opens up a whole new world. Like it's not necessarily about like that you sat down to do it and it was just like, oh, this is great. It's like, no, if you sat down to do something and you think it sucks, like actually if you just keep chipping away at it, like
it could be good.
Yeah, and I feel like you could with anything. You could draw like something which looks pretty dumb and simple, but if you spend like a bunch of hours refining that, it'll turn into something really cool. But I just recently learned that because nowadays with like a lot of art, like it's you can do it quickly, but I've recently had to just like find the benefit of spending so much time.
Yeah.
With something like drawing,
spending more time on something, and not being so satisfied by the quick.
Sunshine was canceled for today, kids. Time to go home.
Technical difficulties on the Sunshine, kids.
Little case of sunshine was
Technical.
today, son.
Blanker's blanking on the blank sign. Shaking on the shake sign.
I got blankers blanking on the blank, son.
Technical difficulties on the Sunshine today, kids.
I don't want to make it rain, but that's what's gonna do. That's what's
I
gonna do.
can't break it down right now, but you see later.
I can't break it down, but eat these later. I'm gonna break it down for you this way. You're gonna eat this later. Goodbye.